Hello, my couture crafters. On this video, I want to talk about how to clean your stamps and how to prep your stamps. And this video should not be too long, but I say that about everything. But first, I wanted to show you that this right here, this is hard. And I want you guys to see it hard and then soft. Okay, guys. Now that I have wet these in warm water, this here is the Tidy Towel by Gina K, and this here is the Stamp Chamois by Lawn Fawn. I use them the same. They do the same thing. I just wanted to try this one because it's darker. And this one here looks like, you know, you really just don't want to whip that out in public and be thinking you're all cute and fancy with your little stamp sets, and this one just here is just super stained. Is it that big of a deal? It's not. But these are Stamp Chamois, and these are one of the ways that you can clean your stamps. And all you need to do is wet them with water. That's it. Nothing, no special stamp solution to activate them. This is the stamp that I just used a moment ago, and it has gold ink on it. And all you do is just wipe it off, and then it'll be ready for use with your next color. Of course, you can clean your stamps with soap and water. No big deal. And this is just the newer way. This is new. You know, this has only been done probably for the past maybe couple years, if that, where we figured out that, hey, if we wet a chamois, we can do this. And it is perfectly clean and ready to go back into the set. Another way to clean your stamps is to use an actual stamp cleaner. And I have a couple of those. I have this one here by Sukaniko, and then this one here by Ranger. They're probably very similar. You can use these on clear and rubber stamps. This is going to give you more of a deep clean. So what I would do if I wanted to use one of these is I would take it. Let's say it had a little ink. High quality stamps will stain. Just know that. They're going to stain. That's okay. That's just a feature of a high quality stamp. So I'm just going to tap this. This is Party Dress by Catherine Pooler. She's one of the brands that I buy. I'm one of those people who swears up and down I cannot have all the brands. I have quite a few, but nobody needs all the brands of inks. I need a good ink with a lot of different colors that I can use. I did not stamp this stamp up all the way. I just, whatever, just to get it dirty. So now I've got some options. I can take this and just wipe it off, which is fine. And then I can go into my next color. Catherine Pooler inks have a property, and I don't know how, I don't know what kind of sorcery it is, where you can wipe this off with this and then go into another color and you don't get transfer. You don't see the other color. But if I wanted to do a deeper clean, I'm going to grab this cleaner. I don't know why. It's got a dauber on the end. I'll just take it and just put it all over just like that and let it sit for a few seconds. And then I'll take it and just kind of rub. And this is a stamp scrubber. And then I'll just go back and forth like this while it's on the block to get it nice and clean. Because this is a clear stamp, I feel more comfortable just hitting it with some water. This is just water in my distress sprayer. Just hitting it with some water to try to deactivate some of that archival ink cleaner. I know it says it's fine to go on clear stamps, and that could possibly be the truth. But I know that something that can clean off a very heavy ink like StazOn ink probably will eat through clear stamps. That's just how I feel. So anytime I clean my stamps with one of these and it's clear, I don't do it with my rubber stamp. Sometimes I do. I just hit it with a little water afterwards. And that way I know that my stamp is super duper clean. Okay? Simple. Have a little cleaner, have some Stamp Chamois. I think they are great. I know that people just get the car chamois from AutoZone or wherever, or Walmart. Cut those up and use those too. You can store these in a plastic baggie or in a little salt container or wherever. If you store them where they're airtight, they'll stay moist, and then you can just keep using them, or you can do like me and let them get hard and just re-wet them when you're ready to use it. But that's how I clean my stamps. Nothing too special to it. I have a little stamp cleaner. I have a little cleaning pad here, and it really will get your stamps very clean. But know that if you have a photopolymer stamp, the clear ones, a good clear one, it's going to stain. So that's how you clean it. Let me show you how to prep it. This is a cheap stamp set. Okay, this is one that comes from Michaels. It's Recollections. It's their Halloween stamp set. It's never been opened. This is the first time. I like to open these stamps on camera so that I can show people what the difference between a nice stamp and a not so nice stamp is. So I'm going to grab this unicorn up here. This is a cheaper stamp. And the whole point of having a stamp is to have a nice, clean, clear image come out when you stamp it. I should get a bigger block, but I don't want to. Let's see, we'll just put this guy on here. I'm going to show you what happens with inexpensive stamps. The surface here is nice and slick and smooth and all pretty and whatnot. If I put this ink, this is a high quality ink, so this is not your ink from the stores. This is one that I've ordered. It's a nice premium quality ink. If I pat it on here, you're going to see that it wants to bubble up. You see that? It's got all the little bubbles. Now this would be way worse if this was a cheaper ink pad, way worse. But it's got all these bubbles on it. I don't know if you guys can see it. It didn't really stick to the unicorn the way that I want it to. I'm going to stamp him down. And you're going to see all little bubbles on the unicorn. I'm holding this down for a few seconds and letting the dye actually try to get into the paper. And then we lift it up and you can kind of see that he's a little bit splotchy. If you were not using a premium quality ink, it would be worse. Can you see that? Mr. Unicorn is super splotchy, super splotchy. I'm not cute. I'm going to clean this off, and then I'm going to take my this cheap stamp through some prep. One of the ways you can prep your stamp is to use a white eraser and just try to erase a little bit. Just hit it with an eraser, and it tries to take off that first layer of whatever that shiny stuff is. This is the world's largest stamp and the world's most detailed stamp. I don't know why I had to choose this one. I guess because it was open. And you can kind of see where I have erased on this stamp. And I'm just going to try to go around Mr. Skeletal Unicorn. Why do I buy these cheap stamps? Because sometimes they have the coolest designs, and I think this is a pretty cool set. So we're going to do that with Mr. Scary Unicorn. And then I'm going to hit it again with this ink and see if we get better results. I can already tell that he looks a little bit better. A little bit. He's still doing a repelling dance, but I don't know that I erased all the way everywhere. But his body looks better, and I know I got that part better. Okay? So hitting it with, okay, much better. Hitting it with an eraser will definitely give you a better result. Okay? Another way to prep your stamps is to use this clear, tacky stamp pad. This is called a Versamark stamp pad. If you decide that you want to become a stamper, I suggest that everybody get one of these. This has many different uses, And one of the uses of this is to prime your stamps. It's a great way to prime your stamps because it's sticky and it's clear. So I'm going to put it down. You're not going to see anything. I'm going to make sure I get Mr. Unicorn nice and juicy. And you see that I'm taking the ink pad to Mr. Unicorn. Ooh, see, I told you sticky. And then we're just going to pat. I'm just doing light taps. I know it probably sounds like I'm not, but because it's sticky, it's sticking to my ink pad. And we're going to do that. Then we're going to see if we get an even better result with this one. And I'm just going to give nice even pressure. And there we go. Okay. Again, this is a cheap stamp. This is not the best quality stamp that I have. But can you see the difference between all of my unicorns? This one here, but remember, I'm using a really good quality ink. I can't stress that enough. If you are using $1 ink or something like that from the store, you probably will not get the best results. If you're okay with this, that's fine by me. I get it. But I suggest that if you want the best results, guys, try to buy the best that your money can afford you. It will make the difference in how you feel about what you're doing, I believe. So this is me using a really inexpensive stamp. Okay? This is not quality. I'm telling you, this is not a photopolymer high quality stamp. Let's switch over. I'm going to open this on camera. This is also a premium dye ink. It's another brand that I like to support and buy. And this is Altenew. It's also a dye ink. Altenew makes very, very, very nice quality stamps. This is a brand new stamp set. I haven't used all the stamps on here yet. As you can tell, when you have a brand new stamp set, it's kind of hard to peel stuff off. This is a square that I've never used before. Another way to prime your stamps is to simply keep just continuously stamping it. You don't necessarily have to hit it with the Versamark, although I know that Versamark will get it. Premium quality dye ink. This is different. This has a felt pad. Felt pad on a solid stamp. You see that? The first time I put it down, you see the texture of the felt on that stamp. That's one of the reasons why I prefer for first-time buyers to get Catherine Pooler's inks, because her inks come with a foam pad. And if you touch this to this, you'll get more of a solid image without the texture of the stamp. But don't worry, we can work with this. It's just going to take a little bit more. So what you're going to do is you're just going to tap, tap, tap. Keep tapping until that color builds up on there. I am not looking to get a good impression. This is just the first time this stamp has ever been used. So I'm going to stamp it here. Okay. Because this stamp is small enough, I can go directly onto the pad. But the proper way to truly ink a stamp is to put it on its back and take the pad to the stamp. And with felt, you can really start tapping away at that till you feel like you get good coverage. And then we'll stamp twice. When I'm first using a stamp, sometimes I even like to twist a little bit. See that? I just did a little twist to make sure everything is getting in all the little nooks and crannies. And then I'm going to stamp again. And I'm just going to keep using this stamp repeatedly until I feel like I'm getting the best from this stamp that I can get. if you just keep stamping and stamping and stamping, your results will get better as you go along until you finally get the solid image that you're looking for. And it takes about, I don't know, about 10 times before you can get a totally solid image. But as you keep stamping, it'll get better. If you want to just jump the gun, I'm going to clean this puppy off here. You can do what we did with the other ones. We can take an eraser and just go over the entire stamp. Solid stamps are always the most difficult to prep because they're solid. No line image, no cheating it. It's just solid. Solid, solid, solid. All right. Okay. And I'm going to give it a second and hold it there and tell you guys the color of this is it Razzleberry? Razzleberry by Altenew. And there we go. So the more times you stamp it, the better off the stamp will be. And of course, you can always hit it with your Versamark too. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you hit it with a Versamark. So that's after I erased it. Now I've just wiped it off with the chamois. I'm going to hit it with the Versamark. Tap, tap, tap. With this pad here, I'm pushing down pretty good because I really don't care how much gets on there. And I could wipe a little of that off with my hand, but I'm just going to go straight into this ink here. And I can see that I'm getting good coverage. And I'm going to stamp it again. A lot of the problem with people when they're stamping is that they stamp and then they lift up super quickly. No, this is a dye-based ink, not a pigment ink, which means that it's seeping into the paper and it will smooth out over time. So hold it down for a while. Hold it. Let it soak down. So then you get more of a solid image there. And as time goes on, it'll begin to smooth out a little bit. But that's another way to prep your stamp is simply by just stamping it, stamping it, stamping it. If you have a good quality ink and a good quality stamp. This stamp here, you would never have received better results simply by stamping a stamp a few times with this stamp here. It would have been blotchy and even worse if you did not have a good quality ink. I just can't stress that enough, guys. So in this video, we learned how to clean and prep our stamps. Again, I'm just going to take this. It's damp, just a damp cloth. And wipe it off. I'll even hit it with a little bit of cleaner. But I'm going to assume that this is going to be one that's going to stamp that's going to stain. And I'm okay with that. I'm going to wipe it off. And I see that it did stain. I'm going to spray it with a little bit of water. And then I'm just going to massage it here on this. Okay, and then I'm going to put it back. So again, thank you guys for hanging out with me again. This is us learning how to clean and to prep our stamps to get good solid images. And we're getting ready to get on to the fun stuff. Next up will be inks. And we'll talk about all the inks that I have and the inks that I suggest one buys. All right. Thank you so much, my couture crafters.